I mean, I can't trust Wikipedia.
You know, it's funny though. Like, I totally judge ska bands. Like, if a ska band has an album that came out in '97, I'm like, oh, trendy. But if it came out in like '93, I'm like, '93. Look at that.
They were ahead of it.
Yeah.
That's why losing streak counts.
And then if it comes out in '99, I'm like, ooh, you missed it. Too late.
Yeah, just Carson Daly already threw away his like Hawaiian shirts. Don't even.
Yeah, if it's not that Smash Mouth album, it's not real.
Honeys, we're home.
Hello, and welcome to Sinclairity, a Dinosaurs Tale. This is episode 19, and I am your host. We're going to need another Timmy, along with my co-host.
Ben, hand up me.
Ben, hand up me. How you doing, Ben?
I'm fucking tired today. Like, I mentioned you before we recorded, but I typically wake up on accident at 4 a.m. every day, and I can't stop it from happening. And then that happened today, but I was tired enough that, like, at 6 a.m. I, like, fell back down to sleep, and then woke up right before we got in the Zoom meeting. So I'm still getting...
Yeah, I was a little,
Tim disappeared during the intro.
I was a little freaking out. I was like, "Oh my god, it's like 11:30. Where's Ben?" I was like,
"It was 10:30. Your time zone's wrong."
Well,
just to clarify,
my time.
Yeah, you refer to it as Tim time.
Yeah,
so
Tim time.
Tim the tool time. Timmy.
But regardless, then, we're here, and today.
Yeah, and we're doing the episode. What episode are we doing? Season 2, episode 11. Switched at birth.
Switched at birth. Yep. This is a weird. This is a weird episode to have a guest on, just because the lore of this show is like building through this episode, and it's very weird.
Yeah, as much as this show world builds, which it doesn't, we do all the world building for the show while we're listening or watching it.
Yeah, but we do have a guest today.
Yeah, today we have our friend Mike Brody on the podcast. Welcome, Mike Brody.
Hello, how are you doing? You're tired.
Great.
Sorry, I was listening.
Oh, it's cool. I know that you're not an audiophile, so you probably like droned out during that.
No. I was listening. I like that your cat was stretching right during the.
Yeah, I had to let him out too. He's gonna start clawing his way out of the room. So
nice.
Yeah, Tim classically traps cats. That's what I know about Tim. He's a cat trapper. Cat trap sounds like something you say when you're telling somebody to shut up, like shut your cat trap.
It sounds like a genre of music.
It really does. My band is Cat Trap UK. We're not from England. So yeah, Mike Brody is a stand-up comedian who you live in Minneapolis still, right?
Yep.
Forever.
Yeah.
And and you can we'll plug this again at the end of the episode, but you can check out his comedy special. You can just go search Mike Brody. It was the first thing that came up on my computer, but I know that Google listens to us while we sleep. So, like, I don't know if that's always the case, but I think it's just like MikeBrody.com, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and you'll find his comedy special with the ever-changing name. It's supposed to be Not Afraid of Butterflies, but it has become, what is it now?
They changed it to Never Mix a Wiener with a Golden Retriever.
Imagine any band has an album and the label changes it to that, just like at any point.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Eat World, like when Bleed American was out, we talked about it, and then 9/11. They're like, it's joke. Now never. Yeah, but now it was before the podcast. Now it's Never Mix a Golden Retriever with a Wiener. The Jimmy Eat World album.
Yes, it is. It's whatever. As long as it's up there, right?
Yeah, sure.
And
it's a good special. It's got a lot of views on YouTube too.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. It was in Utah, which was really cool. I had never been to Utah before. No, it's gorgeous. It's like a postage stamp. It's bigger than that.
Wow.
But it was yeah.
Then why were Steve-O and Heroin Bob so upset the whole time they lived there?
Were they upset?
SLC Punk. I mean, they were upset.
I think you said Steve-O. I think you meant from Jackass.
Yeah.
Heroin Bob could probably be a nickname for almost anyone in Jackass too.
Did they make a sequel to that movie, by the way?
Oh yeah, I've never seen it.
I'm sure nobody has.
I don't know.
It's called like Punk's Not Dead.
I don't think anyone's seen it ever.
I think the turnout for that movie proved that they were wrong with the title Punk's Not Dead.
Right.
I thought it died in the 80s. Thank you, Mike, for being here. And usually before we start the episode, we usually like to ask our guests what is their relationship to the show? Do you remember it when you were young or anything like that?
So what year did it debut?
91.
91.
Okay, wow. All right. So because I do have memories of it, but I didn't. So I would have been roughly in 7th grade when it debuted. So I was kind of at that weird period where I was like, I'm an adult. I'm in 7th grade. I don't watch kids stuff, But conversely, that they pushed the hell out of Dinosaurs. It was not some little underground thing. It was they had commercials on TV, obviously, but it was I don't know if it was Burger King or something. They had on drinks. It was really, really, really big deal. And I remember thinking it was just oh, is this just Roseanne with dinosaurs? But
close.
That was one of the prospective titles for the podcast.
Roseanne with dinosaurs. Never mix Roseanne with a dinosaur.
I'm not afraid of the Connors.
Right. But so I think I watched it in the sense that when you were in middle school in the 90s, when cable was 30 channels at best, or maybe not even that, I don't remember, but you would just watch what was on. Literally, if it was it's Thursday, this is what's on now. So I would see it, but I didn't purposely ever watch it. It was kind of flipping through. Just I hated Saved by the Bell, and I refused to watch it, but they literally would play it on 3 channels at once.
Jesus.
It's 3 literally at the same time. So I had to it was an actual effort to not watch Saved by the Bell. It was indoctrination. But yeah,
I remember having to watch Saved by the Bell before school every day because my older siblings, my brother's was born in 79 and my sister in 81, and that was every morning before school. I was in the living room watching that show.
Yeah, it's a horrible show. I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna get killed for saying that. But yeah. So I have a lot of memories about the show, but not it's Tuesday. Better sit down and watch the dinosaurs. I don't really remember. I remember thinking I remember as a kid being this probably sucks, right? This is they're puppet dinosaurs or whatever. I was a skeptical 7th grader. But
it's called being punk.
Right. But I had not seen until I watched this, I had not seen it since whenever I don't know when the last episode was, but it had been a long break.
I do believe that now it's been funny to do this podcast because it's not on a streaming service currently. And I think maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks after this episode will air, it will be on Disney Plus. I'm blaming us for I made a bunch of memes about Ryan Reynolds to start shit. Of course, he's never seen the memes, and there's no way it's related. But it did get announced right after I did that.
You guys you haven't made. You're gonna have all this pre-recorded stuff ready to go, right? When Dinosaur Mania 2 kicks in.
Exactly.
When they do.
Yeah, when we write the reboot. They're just gonna be can you tone down the maybe 90% less dick jokes than the podcast and do a Dinosaurs reboot? Although the show gets pretty dick jokey at times, honestly. Also, Dick Jokey sounds like a great morning radio host.
I'm not gonna get into it just yet because I'm but it was not what I expected. That's all I'm gonna say right now. Not what I expected.
Okay.
I mean, this feels like in general a weird episode to come into. So I usually write a summary. Let me find the summary. So this one was written by Tim Doyle, who wrote the episodes When Food Goes Bad and Family Challenge. When Food Goes Bad was a fun one because it was very The Labyrinth. It had the most little Muppets in it. Because this is a Jim Henson show. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I didn't notice. I noticed that the puppets seemed they're humans, but they have a mask on, but the masks really move. And
it's motorized.
Yeah, and I was these are really good. You could really see the expressions on their dinosaur faces. I was impressed.
Well, what was your relationship with the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
I was into the cartoon. The cartoon came out first, and then the movie. I don't think because Vanilla Ice was in the second one.
Yeah.
I'm putting the time frame together here.
Yeah.
So it must have been before this. So before Dinosaurs was the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I had to have seen it. I don't have any memory. It's like military blacked out of my mind. I don't remember.
I think it was like 88 or 89, I think. Or 90.
Then I surely saw it. If it was that, I definitely saw it.
Because I was
a
kid.
That's the same workshop. It's the same Creature Shop. Jim Henson Creature Shop did that movie, and then it was the inspiration for the show Dinosaurs is the ability to like do puppeteering that way.
Okay.
Because they had a bunch of martial artists inside the Turtles, and some of them work on Dinosaurs too. Like some of the actors that were. They don't do any martial arts, at least so far in Dinosaurs, but it'd be great if they just whoop Shredder's ass off nowhere.
I mean, I could have easily seen this show being made by a bunch of people in just masks that don't move. You know what I mean? Like, so it was really good.
So and it was directed by Tom Trubovic, who has directed a handful of episodes. And the summary for this episode, quickly before we do like our whole play-by-play throughout the thing, is after Fran realizes she switched nests in Lamaze class with Glinda Molehill, she starts to think that baby isn't their baby. Her fears don't seem well-founded though, until she meets the Molehill baby, Aubrey, who looks like baby with Earl's green skin. After an unbearable baby swap, the two families ask for help from the wise Solomon the Great. This is a dumb fucking episode, sorry. But I enjoyed it immensely. Like, it was silly, but it was just like... Okay, like, we'll get into it, but, like, her third baby, she went to Lamaze class. I'm very confused by this. Like, it just seems like a little fishy.
Lamaze class for a group of animals who just lay eggs is very, very weird.
I think in the 90s Lamaze was like a hip thing. So I think this was them being like hip. Like, look at we're talking about Lamaze. Like,
yeah,
like people.
It was just so Earl could get in his whole joke about it being $200 and shit. Which
right. Well, also, I thought it was a little. I don't like. I'm assuming in a show from the 90s, there's an awful lot of like that wouldn't fly today kind of stuff. It's like maybe having the Indian lady as the Lamaze lady complaining that that was a bit that was a bit awkward.
It happens in quite a few episodes. There's a lot of
gay jokes.
It doesn't go as far as like gay jokes is a big thing, and like I mean not as bad as it was when I started rewatching the VH1 I Love the 90s. Which is just like it's just like gay joke, the F word, the R word, back and forth. Like it was just like what is happening in the like early 2000s? Everyone was so cringy. It's a lot.
Wait, those are the people that were reviewing the 90s.
Yeah, reviewing the 90s. So,
it wasn't the actual 90s.
It wasn't even just the 90s.
No,
this is just even like as recent as like 2005. It was just still like too much. Whenever you show anyone older media, you're like, trust me, the parts you're not gonna like, I'm on your side with it, but there are merits to what I'm showing you. Type thing. Like I promise most of this movie is good. Just ignore all the awful shit that happns in this scene right here.
Right.
So I guess you want to get into the episode?
I'll do like the quick little trivia real quick. Is that four scenes from this were removed before it was syndicated to Disney Channel. I don't know which 4 would have been removed, but probably like Lamaze class. I don't know.
That's insane.
4 scenes is a lot. Yeah. Like, how did they even... Was it just a shit ton of Disney Channel commercials in between each? Like, how'd they fit that into just one episode slot, removing 4 whole scenes?
I'm really curious as to what they were.
Yeah, and then this one has Julianne Boucher, who was just Robbie's crush in the episode before this, is back in this episode, like right away, as a different character, and I don't know if Robbie's gonna fall. I think she plays Aubrey Molehill, the baby, so I don't think it's Robbie's crush anymore. Hopefully. And then Jason Alexander is back to play Gus Molehill, and he played that same like dinosaur puppet as a different role like a few episodes ago.
Wait, which one's Gus?
The dad.
The other
dad.
Okay. I thought he was playing the son for a second. I was like, wait, what?
That'd be a really weird, like, they're like, we need Jason Alexander for this role, but sound nothing like you.
Right. Be a baby.
He really looked like the brother from Blossom. They were really going for a Blossom, Joey Lawrence. They were going for a real Joey Lawrence look with the brother.
Yeah. So, Tim, you guys start walking us through the episode.
All right. So the episode opens with a a commercial for DTV, and Baby.
I want this on a T-shirt.
Yeah, and Baby and Robbie are watching DTV, and it's got the old classic MTV Spaceman like.
Wait, what does DTV stand for?
It has to be Dinosaur.
I'm just kidding. I was kidding.
They just add Dinosaur. It's just like the news. The news on the show is DNN. It's just the Dinosaur News Network. Yeah.
Maybe it's Dick. You're talking about Dick. Maybe it's all Dick TV.
It's Dick Television.
Yeah. So it comes on, and we go to the host, who is stereotypically British, of course, and he's like, "You tuned in for a weekend of macho idiot rock."
Yeah, it's great. All weekend long, superficial adolescent male posturing and shallow meaningless songs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they play a band that sounds like a Dinosaur, Alice in Chains, kind of like a early '90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they called it Lizard Skizzard, which just means to me that their finger was not on the pulse.
No,
they were just like. They went with the easiest pun, and they didn't even like try beyond that.
There was in the early '90s when people were trying to like lampoon like the current state of music, like grunge. It was all made by people who were like older, so they didn't get it. So they'd be like, "These kids with their music, like they're Stevie Ray Vaughan."
Yeah,
you know, like they didn't really know.
Yeah, it's like this is in the early '90s of Leonard Skinner when they started playing hair metal. You know?
Yeah, it's just very uncharacteristic too. Like I wouldn't be like about to introduce Nirvana and be like superficial adolescent male posturing or whatever. Like it's definitely not what those bands represented in any way.
Well, I guess it might depend on
the Dinosaur versions did though.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it kind of
they could have gone with a Lizard in Chains.
Huh?
Yeah,
I said they could have gone with a Lizard in Chains.
Well, it makes you wonder like when they actually filmed these episodes, because what their point of reference would be.
Wait, Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had no idea who they were. I made a joke about them in the episode that just aired about because like Robbie has to go to a job wizard to be assigned a job, and he wants to be a rock legend. I was like, maybe they were all out because Dinosaur Jr. went in before him.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so the song, it's just like it's a lot of keyboards, and there's a huge drum set, and the song's called Better Than You, and it's just the singer just going to like every member of the band and just saying, "I'm better than you," and just like I don't.
Did you see like the full like they had the MTV video like settings at the bottom? It was "I'm Better Than You" from the album "You're Worse Than Me," and from the movie soundtrack, "I Never Thought You Were That Great to Start With."
I did it. That's great.
And it was on Ego Records and Tapes.
That's great. So
yeah, it was a pretty good intro bit, honestly.
So this lead singer, he's just suffering from lead singer syndrome, where he just thinks he's better than everyone in the band. Yeah.
How's that feel as a drummer, Tim? How often do you deal with that?
All the time.
What I dislike about whenever we have drummers who know other instruments that are in the band, they always want to switch to the other instrument. They're like, "No, I want to play guitar now." I'm like, "But we need a drummer. We've gone through 80 drummers. Please just stay for once."
I can't play guitar, so
yeah. So you're like an obvious fit.
So but yeah, so they're watching the TV, and Fran comes in, and she's just like, "Robbie, can you turn that down? Like, don't you think it's too loud?" And she's like, "I don't like it. I don't like their morals and what they stand for." And Baby's just like, "Wow, beer, cigarettes, chicks."
Which does not come up in the song at all.
Right, and then the brother was like, he could have learned that anywhere.
In the early 90s, probably true. Just like any magazine ad, like it's just fine. Yeah, I also like that when Fran addresses Robbie just says, "Thanks, Mom, I'll have that with cheese." Like completely does not listen, but assumes that she's there to serve him. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
My mom would have killed me. That's all I know. Is if I ever responded to any command she had with like, "Thanks, Mom, I'll have that with cheese."
Fran is too old, you know. If it's too loud, you're too old. You know what I mean? Just
yeah, but then right after that, Earl pops in with a present for the baby a day early because he's trying to buy his love.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the baby's birthday. So we're a year.
The next day.
We're a year into the series, basically.
Oh yeah, the pilot did start. Well, the pilot started with a flashback to the baby being born, I guess.
True.
So it isn't really a full year yet.
So
if we're gonna develop the show Bible.
So is he only a year old then?
They said he was a year, yeah. But here's the thing, but he can talk. So is that a dinosaur thing? Can baby dinosaurs talk at a year? Or human dinosaurs? Human babies.
This show, I think the show was written by those mothers that lie on Twitter. Like, I came in from work today and my 2-year-old said, "You carried me for 9 months, Mom. Let me carry you." Like, this child didn't say that. Is essentially the whole baby Sinclair thing. Aubrey being even worse, because when we meet this other baby later, he's very verbose.
Yeah,
I do not.
Since episode 1 of the podcast, me and Ben have been trying to develop like a show Bible, and one of the points is that baby is born and then he can immediately speak in full sentences. Like it's just he's already intelligent enough.
I don't know what happens in an egg. I've never been in. Well, I guess I have been in an egg, but it was inside a body as well, so it's very different.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird existence, I'm sure, especially being dinosaurs that are clearly the size of humans.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Oh man, there's a scale issue, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and like a species issue. All the dinosaurs are different species too. Like, none of it makes sense. But we think they just found each other.
Yeah. So Earl has a gift for the baby, and he's just like, he just wants to pay for his love, and it's a baseball bat.
Yeah, which is a bad idea.
That was a really bad
idea. This baby is violent.
Yeah. And then so Earl just gets smacked in the face, and I just love it though, because Fran is like, cause she's like, he's too young for sports and everything like that, and he's like, it's okay, it doesn't matter. And then he, like, when he hits him in the face, he's just like, don't worry, Fran, we're bonding all over the place. That's such a weird thing to say.
Aside from the fact that the baby is notoriously violent, like, you can tell he's a bad dad because he thought 1-year-old, good gift, baseball bat. Like, wouldn't work. He couldn't pick it up. Like, it makes no sense.
Well, he could pick it up. He bashed his face in.
Specifically this dinosaur baby.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also do like that he promises the baby's going to get a pony tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, big, fat, juicy one, grilled to perfection.
Yeah. And then, so Earl gets hit in the face, and he basically passes out from a concussion. And he falls back. And then it's like all black, and he's just like, oh, it's my loving family. And they're all like questioning it. And he's like, is he dead? And Fran's like, no, if he was dead, there would be scavengers at our door right now.
Yeah, and he starts to open his eyes, and Robbie suggests that it's probably an involuntary muscle response. But then Baby takes care of it anyway.
Yeah, hits him again.
Just knocks him out again.
Yep. And eventually, Earl wakes up, and so when he wakes up, Charlene brings in like a box of all his baby stuff. Is that how we get introduced to the nest, right? I'm trying to...
Yeah, well, what happens is Charlene comes in the room saying she put a pan under Earl's face to catch his drool. Yeah. While Fran is packing up baby's clothes in the nest and everything, and then Earl pops in with a weapon and a shield, which is like a plunger and a lid, to try to get near the baby.
Yeah.
But this is when, Charlene and Robbie started talking about how this nest, it says it's like the property of Gus and Glenda Molehill, and they bring up that for some reason, like, she went to Lamaze class for her third child.
Just very weird. And,
wait, I just realized something. The Lamaze class, because of the egg, I was like, oh yeah, that's funny because it's an egg. But then I'm like, wait, the egg was out. They already had the egg out.
Yeah, exactly.
It just occurred to me what.
Yeah, so there's just an egg in a nest, and she's just in a room sitting there, and Earl's complaining about the price. It was literally, like you mentioned, it was just so they can do this flashback scene of the Lamaze class and make a big joke about it being a waste of money. Like, that's like...
Yeah, he's just like, $200 for this, and then like the instructor the whole time is just saying like,
no refunds.
Well, that's a good scammer if they've already given birth, basically, and they're doing Lamaze classes.
Yeah.
I just like the concept here too of like Dinosaurs, thinking that it's the one, like, watch out, Dinosaur's going to take Lamaze to the chopping block. Get ready to be roasted in Lamaze classes. Like, they're not capable hands for roasting anything for the most part.
Yeah, and then
it was a very short, ineffectual scene.
Do people still do Lamaze classes? You don't hear about that much anymore.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
I feel like maybe they do it over Zoom.
Oh, they've changed it to like but even with the COVID thing,
Yeah.
but like they probably changed it into like some yoga sun salutation thing or something.
Yeah, I just googled local ones, and there's one called NOLA Nesting nearby me.
Oh God!
And Tiny Wishes Birth Services.
So yeah, don't bring up a nest in Lamaze around here.
Don't get your egg switched, which is exactly what happens in this episode.
Yeah, I think it seems to all be about doulas now, which is the doula obligata is the part of the brain that
Yeah.
I had nowhere to go with that. Don't worry.
I always think Water Boy.
Yeah, immediately that's why I had to stop, because in my head I was just thinking like it's because alligators' teeth are so like they can't brush them. I was like, I can't get into a Bobby Boucher during anything. So that's the first Adam Sandler mention of the podcast.
Nice.
Made it this far.
So yeah, at Lamaze class there's an earthquake, and the eggs get switched between Glenda and Fran, and they think it's all peachy keen, and
speaking of the 90s,
yeah, and it
peachy fucking keen,
and it cuts back to the current time, and Fran is concerned, but then Earl's just like, Is my head okay? He's just like, I think I have a dent, and I love it because everyone's ignoring him, which is good.
Yeah,
and
it may not have been established yet for you in this episode, but Earl is a terrible husband and father. So any pain he does receive, it's been due for a while.
Yeah,
the baby is annoying, but the baby definitely called it as he saw it when he was born. It was like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy.
which in this scene, that's all baby's trying to do. Like, baby's trying to stab him with a fork. He's trying to do everything to hurt Earl, and all the while like Robbie is questioning whether or not they had the wrong baby, Earl's kind of like in denial. Like, he's like, no, of course this is our baby. And but I like, because like Robbie's just like, it's like, and he's pink. He's like, why is he pink? None of us are pink.
But like you said, with all the different that's the thing they noticed. Out of like, one's a Triceratops, one's a
Dilophosaurus, one's a Megalosaurus, one's an Allosaurus, which means that it's a Descendants spin-off band.
Did you?
An Allosaurus Rex.
Do you really know the exact type of dinosaurs they are? Have they specified that?
Yeah, they do specify the base. It's like a loose basis. Like, especially the Megalosaurus is a dinosaur that every like 30 years science thinks it looks vastly different than it used to look. Sure. So like,
yeah, and
it's, dinosaurs aren't underground anymore, so it's complicated.
It's also weird.
Was that a pun?
Yeah, it was unfortunately a pun.
It's also weird because baby does look like Earl, and then baby also looks like their grandmother, who is Fran's mom, though. So it's very weird.
And those three are all listed as Megalosauruses by like the directors and stuff.
Yeah.
But is Fran's mom is not in this one, I don't think, right?
I'm surprised. Okay. You think she would be in it and she'd be happy, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But
wait, and let me get this straight. The baby doesn't have a name.
It's just baby.
No.
Yeah.
So they're
they're
really shitty parents.
Yeah. They were really just waiting to find out it wasn't theirs. I feel like they're just because the other baby has a name. Like those parents cared about it enough to call it Aubrey, but this one no baby name.
Sometimes they call him Junior, but that's not really like a name. They just call him Junior. But so they basically decide to call up the molehills, and so they do. And the next scene is Earl is really excited to meet the molehills, and we meet them. We meet Gus Molehill.
Wait, but here we gotta say though, Earl being really excited, he says to Fran that he's putting on a brave facade to cover his internal despair.
Yeah,
so let's give him credit.
Can't wait. So we meet Gus Molehill, who is voiced by Jason Alexander again, who has played the Job Wizard and a few other I think he plays more characters too in the future, but it's the same suit.
And this is a pre-Seinfeld Jason Alexander.
Yeah, it should be, right?
Yeah.
You can still get pregnant from pre-Seinfeld.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wait. Seinfeld was '89 when it started. I think maybe didn't it just start in the late '80s and then it was the '90s? Maybe I'm wrong.
I would say '89. So this was during Seinfeld. He had time to get away from George Costanza to do a couple episodes of Dinosaurs.
To just be George Costanza, but in the dinosaur world, basically.
Yeah.
So Gus, and you already can like tell that like Gus is basically just the baby grown up, because he refers to Fran. He's like, "Oh, you must be the mama," shit like that. Like, yeah,
Earl's not the mama, and he comes in and says, "You gotta love me twice."
Yeah.
It's immediately like there's no subtlety with the writing here.
Yeah, and and then we meet Aubrey Molehill, who's my new favorite character. We won't get.
I was concerned. Tim texted me and said like he has never identified with a dinosaur character more than Aubrey Molehill. And I was like, "You fucking nerd."
So we come and the parents are. Fran and Glenda are talking about how they got mixed up, and Baby is on Gus, hitting him in the head with the pan, just like always.
Yeah. And Gus is shouting again.
Yeah, and because he likes, I guess, sadomasochism is hereditary. And Earl's hanging out with Aubrey, and he gives him. He's like, "Hey, do you want to try this juice?" And Earl's like, he like faints. He's like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Wait, you're not gonna hit me?"
I found that scene very sad. It was like it was supposed to be funny, but I was like, "Geez, there's like some reverse abuse going on here."
Yeah, this traumatized guy. This low key reminds me, the building that I live in. Two of the other apartments are occupied by. This father and son. The son was my manager at Domino's, and the father worked at Domino's. And the son just essentially they just like made him get in fistfights with him every night. Like he just yells at his dad and fights him. But it turns out it's because his dad wasn't around most of his life, so they have kind of a weird relationship. Where like the son thinks it's fun, the dad's like, "No, you hit me in the head last time. We're not fighting today at work."
So wait, his dad wasn't around for most of it, and now the son is the boss of the dad at Domino's?
Yeah, he got him a job at Domino's.
That is a crazy dynamic.
Yeah.
And the son's like the son's 20, I believe. Yeah, and the dad's maybe like 38.
Oh wow.
And it's just a very interesting dynamic. It's entertaining, and you can tell that it's deserved.
Yeah.
But it's still funny to just like have to deal with the fact like of them like just suddenly outside like getting in a fake fist fight during the shift. But that's Gus and Baby.
Yeah. So Earl likes the juice, and you can tell he likes Aubrey because Aubrey is like nice and gentle, and Baby hates Earl. So they basically Gus just decides like, all right, well, we're gonna go. They just take his baby.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of my kid.
There's no paperwork or anything.
No.
Must not be established in their universe.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Earl was the first dinosaur to get married, and he's the first one to get a divorce. Well, not really.
Kind of in a way, but like it is implied that in another episode, Monica the Vertebrate, if she got divorced after 20 years, that means she was married before Earl and Fran were.
True.
But it's confusing. Earl's social security number is 000000018, and they do list it like that, like they expect there to be more. He doesn't just say 18; he goes through the zeros first, which is interesting.
So Fran is all upset, and Earl's just like, "No, it's okay. We're not trading down. We're not trading up. We're trading down." Like
trading down. Yeah. We're not trading down.
Yeah, he's really excited, and then Fran is just like, "No, I want to test."
Yeah, but I mean, she also says she's gonna bite his face off if she lets him go out the door. She's gonna really do a Nicolas Cage on him.
Which is normal. This is normal.
Yeah, but he just says like, you can't argue with that logic. Well, it'd be hard to without like lips and shit. But
yeah, so they want the absolute truth. So they go to the absolute truth laboratories.
Close enough. And Yeah, this is another thing where like it's weird because
absolute truth, total landscaping. It sounds like.
Yeah, they ended up in the wrong place. This is the Four Seasons Absolute Truth Laboratories. But what I like about this is like they take a blood sample from Gus and Earl, and Gus is just like straight up like, that hurt, huh, Earl? And Earl's like, no, it didn't hurt at all, and then passes out.
That's me.
That's
me anytime I get blood. I fucking pass out.
You say it didn't hurt, then you pass out?
Pass out, yeah.
This is like, it's so 90s. The 90s were like, I used to get like if you got bullied in school and you told your teacher, they'd be like, well, just fight him. Like, that was just how everything...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, my literal thing, if you went to tell on anyone in my family, to my mom, like cousins or anything, it'd be like, go deck him. Like, that's the whole thing. And, like, I remember I would announce to my mom that I was going to get in a fight at school the next day, and she's like, just ignoring me at the dinner table. Like, that's what happens.
Oh.
Yeah.
I swear, like, it's not just a PSA. Don't raise your kids like this.
Also, is this supposed to take? Did they ever say? Is this like in the dinosaur equivalent of Long Island? Like the dads are all like, "Hey, I'm a dinosaur."
I can see that. We've established California because Earl's job is knocking over redwood trees.
Oh.
But it is also possible that they knocked him down on the other, like the reason we still have him in California is that's not where he lived.
Right.
But
I can consult.
There's a very Goodfellas kind of vibe with some of the dads.
Uh-huh.
I can consult with my family if you want. We can confirm whether or not.
Oh yeah, you did live in Long Island for a while. I forgot. I forget every time you mention it.
But yeah, and I love this. I love this scene though because he's like walking around with the vials of blood and I love it when Baby's just like, you're a quack, and then Aubrey's just like, no, he's a man of science.
So Baby is like QAnon, and then and then Gus is not Gus. Aubrey is everyone else.
Yeah, is that how you say it? QAnon.
I say it like that. Would you?
I don't know. I just realized this is the quarantine. I've never heard anybody say it out loud. I've just read it. I always say QAnon in my head.
No, it's like Anon, like anonymous. They refer to them as Anon. Because it came from 4chan and 7chan.
So you say anonymous?
Well, no, I would say anonymous, but when people say just A-N-O-N, they pronounce it Anon.
Right. Well, that's probably a good thing that we don't know how to totally verify how to pronounce it, right?
No.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, I just, like, if y'all just want to be deniers of the adrenochrome, but...
Yeah. So
Pizzagate sounds delicious. I don't know what the issue is.
After he gets the blood, he puts both babies through a bunch of tests. Like he electrocutes them, and Aubrey is scared, and Baby loves it. And then
there's some zero gravity like flight stuff going on too.
Yeah, they put him through like NASA tests for some reason. Like that's clearly what they're mimicking is the NASA test.
Are they like drowning them? Like they just put them in water, like, and they're just like.
That's how they made Wolverine. I think. Yeah. They're giving him adamantium claws. It's fine.
Yeah. So after all the tests, the doctor, who we don't get a name, it's Mr. Turtlepuss for all I know.
Yeah,
but
there's this guy at Earl's work named Turtlepuss. That's the same costume he wears, and he plays maybe 500 roles in the show. So we just say it's the same guy. He's just trying to make ends meet.
His name is Turtlepuss.
Yeah, Mr. Turtlepuss. Yeah, and
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Did turtles even exist? Did turtles even exist at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's antelope and shit.
A lot of these animals. The animals don't need to coincide correctly in the show.
Yeah. So the doctor is just like, he's like, oh, well, we're almost done or just waiting on one more thing. And he gets a phone call and he's like, hello? Oh, the credit card cleared? All right, we're all good to go. Science has spoken.
American healthcare system. Yeah, nothing has changed as far as healthcare goes between 30 years ago and now, or 60 million years ago or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like the Golden Child episode with the doctor. It's just the same exact shit. Like,
yeah, they should have used that same doctor for this scene. It would have made more sense. But
yeah.
we're the only ones world building for this show where they weren't really.
So yeah.
This is, speaking of it being heavily advertised, like you mentioned, it makes sense because it was the most expensive primetime show at the time to make. Because it was like millions of dollars per episode easily. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. No, it was like the most. Yeah, I think they had like, it was like like the way they push Marvel now, like how when a Marvel movie comes out and like you go to like McDonald's and it's all in the drinks, that was Dinosaurs.
I love that concept because I'm just imagining people talking about wanting to fuck Earl now, because that's why I feel like people talk about the Marvel actors, like about which guy's hottest. It's like just like a Chris Hemsworth Earl, like it just. But yeah, I do have the McDonald's toys from the Dinosaurs show.
Oh, it was McDonald's then. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah, they're little like air things. You like pumped them and they move.
Yeah, they don't really make much sense.
So yeah, McDonald's had Dinosaurs. Hardee's had California Raisins, and who had Dick Tracy? There was a really unsuccessful Dick Tracy push.
That might have been Burger King.
It may have been to complete the trilogy.
Like Burger King for me, like that's like Pokemon, and then Beanie Babies at McDonald's in the 90s.
What do you call artists who draw naked people? Is that Dick Tracy's? You call them Dick Tracy's?
No, they're artists. They don't trace anything. They just do it by hand.
that was because in '89 Batman was like humongous, which seems funny now, but like that first Batman was like the biggest thing fucking ever. And and then I think some other studio was like, what do we do? Comic books. Dick Tracy, like that was their next thought.
That's hilarious.
Think of all these movies that have come out, Thor, all this stuff. They're like, Dick Tracy's where it's at. Let's put Al Pacino and give him a huge chin. Kids are gonna love it.
I think Ben is, but are you familiar with the band Bane? Do you know the hardcore band Bane?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the funniest jokes ever was someone I know, this kid John, was just like, man, that guy from Bane, he just looks like a Dick Tracy villain. That's really mean, but the guy from Bane looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Yep. I thought you were heading towards Batman when you brought Bane too. So
there's like two
left turn.
There's two different universes going on.
Did they mean? They probably didn't. They probably just meant like Bane doing. Did they mean? That wasn't a Batman reference. The band wasn't a Batman.
No, I think
reference,
it's just the word.
No, I doubt it.
I think it's just the verb, or
it just sounded straight edge.
Yeah, but they're not straight edge. So.
Oh, they're not straight edge.
That singer is like he's a part-time. And we're going on a tangent. He's a part-time
what?
Dubstep DJ. Lover. That's what he does. When he's not.
Yeah, you have to do drugs to do that. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, speaking of straight edge, so in the next scene we learn that Aubrey Molehill is a soy boy. I think it's confirmed. He's a soy boy, and
I have to interrupt. On my special, there's a comment as somebody goes, "Oh great, another beta male soy boy." And,
what the fuck?
Yeah, about me. And really, I try not to like respond, but I really wanted to say like, hey, I'm more of an almond milk kind of guy because I don't like soy. I like almond milk.
Hashtag not almond.
Yeah. Almond milk and almond milk and there's some other kind of nut milk I like, but yeah, that sounded weird.
Yeah. People need to quit acting like they know which nut milk you're into. But Tim is the resident straight edge and soy boy, so he can speak on this scene.
Yeah. So Earl's taking care of him, and he gets like hit in the nose, right? And he starts bleeding.
Did we announce that they decided that the babies were swapped at birth before we switched teams?
Oh, yeah. Well, the scientist is basically like, Aubrey belongs to the Sinclairs, and...
Yeah, you had such a great segue. I think we just went for it.
So I love it because he like bonks his nose or something. He's like, "Oh no, I'm bleeding!" And then like I love it because Robbie comes in. He's just like, "What is he bleeding again?" And
someone call Dinosaur Child Services, please.
Yeah, and he's like, he has like all this like he just has all these problems. Like this child is just very fragile.
Reminds me of Wednesday's boyfriend from the Addams Family sequel.
Yep.
Yeah.
What happens? Do you know what happens if I touch a fabric softener? I die.
Yeah, which is funny because he's just like, also, could you remember to change the linens in my bed? He has
It's funny because he just seems to have pretty basic concerns, but the juxtaposition with his family is not working for him.
Yeah, actually, he's an empathetic dinosaur. But
yeah, he's a soy boy. He thinks peekaboo is a cruel game because he fears abandonment.
Where are you, Father? Where are you? And,
right, and if you think about it, at the end of this episode, he gets abandoned like 8 times. Really?
Yeah, for real. Nobody cares about this baby. It turns out it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I like when Fran comes home from the store and she's just like, oh, I couldn't find his soy grain-free cookies or whatever.
Yeah, it's sugar-free tofu teething cookies and his low-sodium goat cheese. But this is the part I do think the baby is annoying when he's like, perhaps after dinner you could pop back out and check some other stores. I was like, all right, like you're a bad guest at this point.
Yeah, I love it because they bring out his cake. They bring out his birthday cake, which I thought they were gonna make a joke about the cake being like free of like milk or anything like that. But they didn't.
Or meat. The thing is, they feed the baby 100% meat in his bottle, like that regular baby. So it's weird to have a tofu baby.
Yeah. And I just love it. Like they're all just like talking about him in front of him. Like Charlene's just like, yeah, this kid's a real zero. Like I don't like this guy, and he's like, it's okay. And like, but then with the cake, I love it. They bring the cake in, and Fran is all upset, and they like have the knife on the plate, and she's just like, give me the knife.
Yeah, she either wants to crawl into the woods and die or do it herself. And the kids are just like, what's wrong with her? And Earl's like, she's overwhelmed with happiness. That's also how the 90s treated people with mental health issues, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, kids. She's hysterical.
Yeah. But while they're trying to get Fran away from the knife, the doorbell rings, and it's the Molehills, and specifically Glenda, and she's freaking out. She's just like, I don't want this child. He ate the cat. Stuff like that. And he's just like a terrible baby.
There's another episode where I mentioned that my friend's boyfriend had a baby poster on his door, but she thought it was an Alf poster. And now we know they're the same guy, because Alf eats cats, baby eats cats. This all makes sense.
That's
now.
a good callback. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Alf never ate the cat. He tried to eat the cat.
He tried to eat the cat. Poor Alf.
Yeah, he was always hungry.
But
never a bride. So they start tugging on the babies like wishbones, which of course baby's into.
Yeah.
He just shouts like make a wish, and then my arms have the tendency to dislocate.
I love it. And so Robbie sees all the conflict, and of course he has to stop the conflict. So he's just like,
he tells them to settle it like adults.
Yeah, and then Gus immediately is like, what? Like with weapons?
No, Earl says weapons, Gus says costly litigation.
Yeah. And Robbie's like, no, we gotta go see Solomon the Great. And so
they're getting biblical now.
Yeah. When he first said that though, immediately I was just like, wait a minute. They exist before the Bible.
Before the Bible. This is where Solomon came from.
Yeah.
This is the origins of King Solomon.
Yeah. But then you later we find out what he really means. And he's just like a great judge. Like he's a judge.
He's the wisest dinosaur of all. Yeah. What I like is Aubrey responds like capital idea, and then baby just goes blah, 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 blah. Doesn't even say words.
Yeah, like he's got some num gum again.
Yeah.
And then so yeah.
Wouldn't this baby wait if this was 1991? Wouldn't this baby be like roughly your age now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing is Tim has suggested that I am baby. I'm in his body because it is the exact right age.
And it's inside the suit, like it's not a puppy. So yeah.
It would line up that way. Tim is 33.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and I'm 30, so it would be perfect.
Oh, you're Jesus' age. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, Tim. You have to.
So
be ashamed if you get crucified.
Crucified for your sins. So it cuts to they're in the middle of the woods, and I love it when they're like walking up, and Earl's just like is like, Solomon the Great, why is he so great? If he's so great, how come he doesn't have a house?
I mean, Earl has a house, and Earl isn't great, so that's bad logic.
Yeah, but he's got wonderful dirt walls and ceilings.
Are they dirt walls?
Yeah.
Earl does have dirt walls. It's mentioned by a realtor in another episode. She's like, "Oh, I love the dirt walls. They're so hard to keep clean, though."
Yeah, so basically, Solomon kind of he has a very elder, like the elders vibe that we've seen in other episodes, and
it's like they reminded me of the Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah,
and I guess I didn't even realize that it was Jim Henson, so that makes sense. Because I was like, oh, they're ripping off Dark Crystal, but they're not. They probably just borrowed it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Let me use this.
Yeah. So he's like acting all wise and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it just turns into a magic act.
Were you gatekeep? Tim is gatekeeping wisdom now. He's acting all wise.
But I love it because,
or you sound like somebody's mom. Like, you acting wise?
Just like Ramona, and then his assistant.
And then
comes out.
Caroline Foxworth from the previous episode comes out, essentially, which is Robbie's crush in another episode. Is this dinosaur's assistant?
Well, at least she has a job.
It's true.
And so he basically suggests that they need to divide the child in two. So he puts baby in the little box, and they're gonna cut him in half.
Yeah, and I love this because he has Mr. Sinclair bring me the pink baby, and then he's like, we've never exchanged money before or met in the past. He's like, no, that he takes his wallet, like magically. But then when he sends Earl back over to Fran, Earl's like, look, Fran, it's empty. Like, that's great. Like, he's impressed by that.
Yeah,
I love it.
So he goes ahead and cuts the baby in half. And
by the way, they make a squishing noise when it does that. When they go, it goes. Which, like, was that a special effect, or did they? I was very confused.
It was just
they might have just hit the puppet with a knife,
the sound.
making macaroni.
Yeah.
Just with a wooden ladle. Just.
And of course, baby likes it, so they cut him in half, and he likes getting cut in half. And the feet, I love it because the feet go to the Sinclairs.
That suck. Honestly, if you were in the Bible and the Solomon story happened, you got the bottom half of the baby, like, that's the worst. You're just on diaper duty, that's it. Sucks.
And then it kicks him.
Yeah, but you don't have to feed him.
Yeah.
That's true. That should fix the diaper problem too.
And he kicks Earl in the face with his little feet. And he
Yeah, after Earl says he can't play baseball anymore, but he can play soccer.
And then and then Gus of all people was just like, I don't want this. He's like, I don't want half a baby. Like, and is it Earl who's just like, hey, that's half my boy? Or is that Gus who says that? I don't remember.
It's Earl.
Yeah. So
Earl wants half his boy back.
Yeah. So they agree to put him back together. And they do. They put him back together, and then out of nowhere, the doctor comes out. He like comes out of the smoke.
Yeah, they really that part is annoying because it's that like I hate when things happen in shows that are that illogical just for a clean ending. Because Earl's like, I can never accept an adopted son because he's an asshole. Right. And I do like Aubrey's last line of the scene is like, goodbye, erstwhile mom and dad. Like, this baby knows the word erstwhile. Okay.
And
but Earl says that he would keep baby even if they cut him into 1,000 pieces. He just had to take multiple trips home with all the pieces.
Yeah.
But really, that was all out of convenience. He wasn't really like, oh, I missed this kid. He was just like, oh, whatever, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I didn't feel like it really like It's a Wonderful Life moment happening right here.
No, he didn't seem to learn much from it. Fran's the one who wanted the baby back. It's more just about Gus not wanting half a baby. Is what happened.
Yeah. So we basically learned that science is wrong. It's always wrong in this episode. And Earl is so glad that they live in a modern age.
Yeah. It's a very campy sitcom ending.
Yeah, because the doctor just goes, "It was wrong." That was it. He just he was all excited to be like, "Hey, I'm an idiot." Like,
yeah, I work for Absolute Proof Laboratories. We were fucking wrong again. It's just...
Yeah, but then they all take a bow because it was all performance anyway. So
I just don't understand this.
You can't use doctor in his name. He's not a real doctor.
Just like Joe Biden's wife, right?
Yeah, it's not a real
That's
doctor.
what the right wings are saying currently. Jesus.
But yeah, so that's the end of the episode.
Switched at birth.
Yep, switched at birth.
So, what is this? I've never seen the ABC Family show Switched at Birth, so I don't know if that's based on this episode of Dinosaurs or not. But
that's the one with the deaf
I hope
girl,
not.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. At least that's what I've heard. So, any final thoughts on this episode?
I have zero context for any other episode, because this is the only one I've seen, and it's I didn't realize how violent the baby was. Like, I don't have any memory of it. I just remember it, and it has way more catchphrases than I remember too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's got a solid bag full of catchphrases right there.
Most of what he says are just the catchphrases too.
Yeah. Right. But like that baby was super violent. The baby's definitely going to be a serial killer. Like, it enjoys pain.
Yeah.
He's a dinosaur. He is a predator. Like, he is a megalosaurus.
But he likes self-pain. There's some like BDSM going on there.
Yeah. There's another episode that I think it was the one that just came out where we talk about he's watching TV and he's just like, violence. He like keeps repeating violence over and over again.
Yeah, he sounded like the Exploited.
I hate that song. It's just to say violence over and over again.
I always imagine like a ska band covering it as sax and violins would be a little bit better.
But also that I remember being like, okay, it was a big deal at the time, but it's like, what was Jim Henson and then Steven Spielberg with Animaniacs? They were like, everybody was all about slumming it in the early 90s. Like, we're like really big producers and people, let's just make these little cartoons that people don't remember.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was that they just thought they could do, they thought it'd be better than it was, obviously.
They thought they could do anything.
Yeah. The flesh that when Jim Henson first had the idea, everyone said no because it like seemed so outlandish to have the show, but then Simpsons came out and they decided to put money on it. This is now Jim Henson has already died before they started actually making Dinosaurs, and it's all Brian Henson and the team.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I guess after like, because it takes them like I'm sure it took years to make the puppets and the sets initially, and like all that money, they're just like, this better not suck. Like, this is everything.
Jim Henson's been dead since the early 90s.
89, I think.
Oh dang.
Or like around then.
It was.
I don't have an alibi.
It was like
who's you?
This was like his vision. Like, this was his like what he wanted to do, and then he died.
Yeah.
So.
This is a swan song.
Yeah.
How many seasons did it have?
3.
4.
4?
4 technically. Yeah. Are you scared now, Tim? Because we have to do it.
No, not at all. Because I love this show.
The concept is I didn't watch it. I remember it vaguely as a kid because my older siblings like had VHS tapes of it. But Tim has watched the show multiple times, and I'm watching it my first run through with Tim.
Let me just say this: it was a lot better than I expected. Like,
that's good.
It was a lot funnier than I expected. I expected it to just be like, a lot of stuff doesn't weather, especially humor, sometimes doesn't weather well over 30 years, And then I watched it, and I was actually, my wife was sitting next to me in bed, and I had the covers over my head because I was trying not to bright lights, And she's like, she heard me laughing, and she was like really shocked.
See, it's funny that you found it funny because our last guest absolutely hated it, and it's always funny to like hear people's reactions to it. you know.
It was pretty witty, and here's what I think. Mm-hmm. I think that in general, humor over time doesn't weather very well because humor is all about surprise, and when there's been 30 years, something's been played over and over and over again. You can't surprise anybody, so it's not that it's bad humor. It just evolves. But when you have a show that like can do things that you can't do anymore, like all the violence, like it's funny now because there's no show.
It is shocking.
Yeah, it still is shocking. So it's almost like new again because you can't. That baby is too ultra violent for TV now. You know what I
mean? Yeah, it's not like TV isn't full of Homer choking Bart anymore, so it doesn't like play the same.
Yeah, and plus, like not this episode didn't really have it, but a lot of the gay jokes and stuff that they have, like it's funny, but at the same time, I don't know if they could get away with that nowadays.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't hear any gay jokes in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Aubrey was kind of like a, supposed to.
He's a soy boy.
Yeah, he's just a soy boy, kind of like a.
But in a way, that was almost ahead of its time.
Mike Brody.
Yeah, exactly. but the whole what is it called when people can't have like wheat? What is it? Oh,
gluten free.
Gluten free. Like that shit wasn't for much later on. Like it was kind of ahead of its time right there, making fun of that.
Yeah. The idea of like the entitled like me and Ben, the millennials, like that's like that's like the baby like he would be our age now. So it was like the same environment, like how our parents gave us all trophies for losing and stuff like that, which never happened to me.
I always thought that's a funny thing I always thought that was a funny thing, like to talk about like consolation prizes or whatever. Because for one, it was the parents that decided to do this. It's not like us as kids, like. But also, I remember knowing when a trophy wasn't real. Like, I remember getting them for a baseball team when we didn't place, and like, you just throw it away. Like, there was no part of me that was just like, yeah, I'm still the winner. Like, it's like. Of course, my stepdad was always the coach, and he was an asshole, so it's a little different. But so he made sure I knew we didn't win. But either way, I just think it's just a weird thing that, like, I think people have dropped that now. They don't bring up the whole trophy, whatever it is, generation. But yeah.
Well, I mean, the good news about that is that everybody that makes fun of you for that will die soon.
Exactly.
Age them out.
Oh, it's gonna be a brave new world.
Yeah.
Can I just say that it's funny that nobody even acknowledges that Generation X exists? Like, there's like boomers and millennials are like fighting. And they're like, I heard somebody say like, I'm in my late 20s, so I'm not like exactly. I'm a millennial. I'm not exactly a boomer. And I'm like, there's a whole generation in between there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's always that meme, that Simpsons meme, where it's like the two monkeys fighting with the knives, and it's like boomers and millennials with the knives, and then what the spectators is Generation X.
Yeah, I see. There's a few versions of that too. I see with like the boomers and Gen Y, I guess, millennials, and then Generation X is usually just kind of watching with interest and generally supporting millennials in the argument. Like, let's see what happens.
Well, we all want boomers to go away. That's it. We unify.
Exactly.
It's their time to leave.
We have one united.
But yeah, generations are weird anyway, because every time you look it up, it says something different. Like the most common I'll see with like millennial is it'll say like born between 1980 and like 2000. But then, like, a lot of people in their upper 30s, they'll be like, I'm not a millennial, I'm like Gen X. And it's like, okay, well, there's not really a solid line.
It's all made up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's, I mean, the one that I think the boomers thing is solid because literally they came back from the war and they had a bunch of babies. That makes sense.
Yeah, there was a specific reason for their name.
But, like, I was born in 78, and it does move, so, like, technically I'm Generation X, but I'm, like, the tail fucking end of generation, and that sucks. Nobody wants to be the youngest of a generation. Like, the fucking party's over, you know?
Yep.
So I don't feel like I'm Generation X, but I also don't feel like I'm a millennial, and it's not like an indictment of either. But I think there's a 5-year generation between Generation X and millennials. That's my thing.
Oh yeah, there's like a bridging gap generation for sure there.
It's
because like I know how to use computers, but I also don't like, I don't know, that stereotypical like, oh, the whiny little bitches, soy boy, blah, blah, blah. Like I don't know where I fit in all that, to be honest.
I just I'm a whiny little bitch, and I'm accepting it.
Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely a whiny little bitch. I'm not saying I'm not.
I just think it's always funny, like the participation trophy thing, because everyone I know, like my age, works like 3 to 4 jobs. I feel like, and like a lot of kids I knew have paid their parents rent multiple times throughout their lives, and it's just wild to like. It's all fake. Generation differences. It's all like cyclical.
I think it's more of a class issue, not really a.
That's true.
Really a generation.
Yeah. Well, I dropped out of high school, so I don't have a lot of experience with class.
Everybody wants to blame somebody.
Yeah. It's true.
But so that's the show, basically.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this very special episode.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. No, as I was watching this, I was like, I think I might actually watch more of this show.
You should. It's really
good.
I
mean, it's going to be out January 29th on Disney Plus, but before then, if you need any, I got it all on Google Drive. Don't tell the hint sense. Don't tell Disney. But because I bought the DVDs because I felt like if I'm going to do this show, I should own the DVDs. It was like $20, but I just watched the files I have on my computer. I don't have a DVD player built into my computer. It's 2020.
Right. I do, and it doesn't work. It just gave up. It's like why do you still have me?
Yeah, my iMac has like a DVD player and it doesn't work. It's just like it's dead technology now. It's like wild.
Yeah, use your PS2.
But we'll definitely like if you want to come back for an episode next season or something like that, that'd be great.
Hell yeah.
So we'll have fun with that.
I know we plugged it at the beginning of the show, but if you want to go ahead and plug it again, you're special, and if you have like Twitter or anything like that.
Yeah, if you go to Mike Brody, it's Brody, MikeBrody.com. It has my special. There's a link. You can see my special. I have my albums on there, all that kind of stuff like that. And all my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Instagram, like it's always Mike Brody Comic. It's my handle.
Okay, cool. I would like to point out that MikeBrony.com is not taking it if anybody wants it. Just checked it for everybody. Just wanted to make sure we were all
our cloppers out there. It's
my wife does love My Little Pony, so it's not impossible.
Cloppers.
That's amazing.
Cloppers.
So we'll have what was it? Zanbrony.com?
Yeah, Zanbrony.
That sounds way too close to Zamboni. Perfect.
We do live in Minnesota.
But yeah, you can check out Mike's albums on Spotify too. That's Not What I Meant and Sell Me a Bridge. They're both great. I love them.
Thank you.
I've listened to them all a bunch of times.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're gonna be working on a new one here pretty soon. Just got to have to also wait for people to be able to do things.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I brought you up on an episode before because you talked about like you had a whole bunch of CDs made because you were doing a lot of cruises.
Yeah.
And CDs sold really well in cruises, and then right away, like COVID, fucking cruises are the worst industry in this situation. I feel like
it was probably not a worse place that you could have been during a pandemic than as cruise ship.
Yeah,
I know.
And I got off
that
of it.
happened to the McElroy brothers, famous podcasters. They were on a cruise ship when everything like started, and they like got back to learn all the news, like what the fuck is happening in the world.
Oh really? Oh, they just turned it off. No, we actually
did it.
I would because the cruise was for a week, but I was on for 2 weeks because I was a performer. And the first week everybody was like party, 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 and the second week everybody was like, oh shit, like
yeah, they were saying they got some of the news, but they weren't fully cleared on what was going on. And then they got like on the land. They're like recording the episode for the podcast. They're like, yeah, a lot of shit happened while we were gone, and it's very different now.
The thing that pissed me off, it pissed me off, but as a performer, we get to have the buffet of everybody, which is like those buffets are gigantic and it's enormous, and I love it. I go there like 8 times a day. But then they did a precautionary code red because of COVID. They weren't gonna. There was like a ship in Italy that was 3 months they were out, so they weren't gonna fuck around. So they called a code red, and so what that meant for me was that I couldn't go to the regular buffet anymore. I had to go to the crew mess, which was fine.
No free ice cream, no free soda.
No.
That's my only reference to being. I've only been on one cruise ever, and it was when Tom. Tom. Hi, Tom. I'm close to Clearwater. Here, hello. I went on a cruise when I was in 12th. It was when I graduated high school, and all I remember is that you could just go down to like the meeting room or whatever and get free ice cream and free soda all you want. That's like all I did.
Beautiful.
I gained 10 pounds in a week the first cruise I did. Like legit.
Damn. I've never been on a cruise. I've been on like a 3-hour tour type Gilligan's boat situation. Luckily made it back, but no, I've never been on a cruise. It does not sound like something I want to do necessarily, but I've
never wanted. Let me just put it this way: like I get to go for free and I'm performing. It's totally different.
That's
you know what
different.
I mean?
Yeah, that's. I would do that, like for sure.
My wife and I are more like we travel to different countries, but we like to like make our own path. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really have a lot of freedom. Like, okay, we're gonna go here for 7 hours. Go, do something. You know, I'm like, hurry back. But yeah.
That always makes me like all my Jewish friends that get to go to Israel, like for like a few weeks or whatever the trip. I don't know the trip is called, but my friends, they just end up going to punk houses and hanging out, and then like returning for the airplane like at the last minute.
Nice.
And I'm like, that's definitely sounds way better. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I believe they call it like the birthright. I think it's the birthright.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We call it the blood libel if we're QAnon. So let's thank the people that we normally thank, and then we'll say bye to the listen. So thank you for listening to the podcast, and it feels weird thanking people for listening. We didn't do it for like the first 8 episodes, and I realized it like, oh, everybody else thanks listeners, and I'm like, it's because we didn't think anyone was listening, so it makes sense to like.
Also, I don't know if we remembered to put like like and share and like.
We often forget to do that. The last few episodes, I don't think we mentioned like. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at a Dinosaurs Tale. You can email us at Sinclairity Podcast if you have any questions or if you know any puppeteers that want to be on the show. We can't get the Hensons to be involved with us at all so far. I've sent mail. We'll see what happens.
Even though we have like we probably have a direct link to Laura Stevenson who lives next door to them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay,
wait, I didn't mention that before.
No.
Wait, Laura Stevenson lives next door to the Hensons?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yes.
Wow.
Where does she live? How does she? I didn't know she had money like that. What is happening?
I don't know. I didn't know she.
I do know that. I know her grandfather composed "Little Drummer Boy" and "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Wait,
I learned that on her Wikipedia. Yeah, I learned that on her Wikipedia. Her grandfather
Little
was
Drummer Boy, pum.
Yeah. Her grandpa was one of the composers on that track, the original.
That's like saying they wrote Kokomo. Like holy shit.
Those songs are peas in a pod.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, and then so thank you to Jeremy Hunter from Scouting Network for doing our theme song. You check out their music on Spotify. The dog is chasing the cat behind me, and unrelated to that part. And thank you to Amy Shenanigans for doing the portraits of me and Tim for our logo, and then I added the scary puppets on top of that.
Also, recently didn't they do Zach? We have a Zach one now.
Yeah, now they drew our producer Zach, which we're not going to thank, obviously. And thank you to Zach.
Happy birthday,
for editing,
Zach.
Producing, and you. Oh yeah, also wait, this is late.
Yeah, but
like that doesn't even make sense.
In the real timeline, his birthday was yesterday. So.
Okay, true. You can check out his band Waterson on Spotify and Bandcamp. It's and YouTube. It's very good. Which I won't say to his face, but it's a very good band.
Yeah.
If you like into it over it and shit like that, I guess. But like, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for our episode, season 2, episode 12, Refrigerator Day, which was released on December 11th, 1991. Written by Victor Fresco and directed by Bruce Bilson. Why are you laughing, Tim? What is the Refrigerator Day episode about?
I think the Refrigerator Day, it's similar to, I think it's almost like a Christmas episode, I think. I could be wrong.
Oh, really? Well, we fucked that up.
Yeah.
We definitely fucked that. Just like the Halloween episode we did a month after Halloween.
Yeah.
But yeah, bye everyone. Enjoy the rest of your extinction.
Yep. Thanks again to Mike. And
thank you.
Talk to everyone next week.